Okay, so it's pretty late. You can look, it's 1 a.m. when I'm making this video. But I wanted to get this out tonight, and um, basically, I'm just going to be reviewing some of the stuff we've been learning about language. So if you kept up with everything perfectly, then in a way you don't really need this. But sometimes it's good to hear things a second time. So here's to capture what we've been learning with respect to language. So there's the declarative sentence. Um, Declarative sentences directly assert the claim they're making or directly assert a proposition. And they're probably the clearest way that we can communicate um, claims and assertions. Uh, the example I gave in the other lecture was the cat is on the mat, right? Very simple. Okay, now, but there are plenty of ways. What we were really learning were ways to be unclear. Okay, now ways to be unclear. What this, what falls under this list is going to be, well, a bunch of things. So I'm just going to list them. One, ambiguity. And there can be two types of ambiguity that we talked about. There's lexical ambiguity, where the meaning of the sentence has multiple meanings due to a word in the sentence having multiple meanings. And then there's also ambiguity of a sentence due to the structure of the sentence, the syntax. So that's syntactic ambiguity. Okay. Now, ambiguity should be distinguished from vagueness. So with ambiguity, there could be like two distinct multiple meanings. But vagueness, it's not like there's like distinct multiple meanings. It's more that it's just very unclear what you're saying. So when I was giving the example of generalizations, I use like this old saying, men are logical, women are emotional. When they say that, what does that mean by like logical or emotional, like in that sentence? It's just pretty unclear. And so that's how vagueness is different from ambiguity, where ambiguity could be like the word bank, where there's two distinct meanings. Okay, 3, there's what's called philosophical vagueness. Now, this one was a little bit different, and it's less of a source of unclarity as the other things we'll mention. But when we talk about philosophical vagueness, we're talking about words that don't clearly apply in borderline cases. So the example I used was the word bald. Okay. There's also cases like, when does a hill become a mountain? There's no real precise line, right? And we talked about how pretty much everything is philosophically vague, like even like gender or sex terms, like male or female, or like vagueness is everywhere. So there's that. Okay, and so those words are typically only going to be unclear when we're getting to the borderline cases, but they're not as much as a problem as just regular vagueness. Okay, so there's philosophical vagueness, and then there's rhetorical questions. Rhetorical questions are questions that assert a proposition that they indirectly assert a proposition. And so the example I used was, "Isn't she brilliant?" right? Or "Aren't you brilliant?" And of course, rhetorical questions are everywhere. And the thing you want to always watch out for is the two things, right? If you remember, check, like make clear in your mind what is the claim they're actually making, and then do I really think it's true? Okay, because oftentimes in discussions, when you hear rhetorical questions, it's easy to forget this, but when you hear rhetorical questions, it's masking the absence of an argument. So watch out for that. Okay. 5, there's going to be irony, which I call sarcasm. And that's when someone is asserting the opposite of what the sentence normally means. Or somebody's, communicating the opposite of what the sentence ordinarily means. So, the example from the book isn't that tasteful, right? When talking about the twerking, probably who is that? That there was that star that I can't remember her name, but anyway, she's the one that was twerking in front of a large audience. I know she was Hannah Montana at one time, but anyway, I guess maybe it's Miley Cyrus. Yeah, but it's probably good that I can't remember her name so easily. Okay, because I don't really keep up with pop culture. Okay, next is implicitly relative sentences. Okay, and these words depend for their meaning on like a specific group in the background. So, um, like words that use words like above average or like very fast or very slow, and you can always ask for these like for or what. And okay, so oftentimes words like these like context can settle the meaning, but sometimes they don't, and that's why it's good to watch out for. Okay, lastly, we spent a decent amount of time in our last Zoom session talking about generalizations. Generalizations are sentences that make claims about a group of people, and they say something about that group. It could be like, Asians have black hair. Okay. Now, the thing about generalizations is oftentimes they're missing a quantifier, so you need to add it. So could we say all Asians have black hair? Many, most, some. Some Asians have brown hair naturally. Others dye their hair, I guess so. Um, okay, now we discussed in the last Zoom section um, ways that generalizations can be bad, and we noticed the claim that all generalizations are bad goes too far. One, because it's self-refuting. If you say that all generalizations are bad, well, you're saying that generalization is also bad. And so you should be concerned about that the fact that it's saying of itself that it's a bad statement. But next is sometimes we want to say, a generalization can be bad because it's not supported by the evidence. So a generalization can go wrong evidentially. So we don't have a good statistic maybe to back up our claim about a certain ethnic group or a certain claim about Richmond people. Like let's say I make a claim about Richmond drivers, right? I might try to make a generalization. But I would want to be able to back that up with statistics or maybe like a wide experience with Richmond drivers. Or if I want to make a claim about Asians, a lot of experience with Asian people. And then you want to be able to support your claim evidentially. Okay. And when you can't, your claim is going wrong evidentially. But we also talked the second way that your generalization can go bad is morally. Right? So you can make a generalization, but it's actually hurtful or even demeaning to a group. So even if your generalization is supported by evidence, it's not really a good thing to say to maybe certain people if you're talking about a certain group. Not everything that's true or evidentially supported is good to say. Okay, so those are two ways I said generalizations can go bad, evidentially or morally. But on the other hand, we talked briefly, and this was toward the end, so I was going a little quicker, that generalizations can be good and helpful. Okay, they can be helpful because we need generalizations to reason about things. So if I need to be able to reason, like markers will always fall when let go. All markers fall when let go. Like I need that to reason so I can like catch the marker. And sometimes we do need to make generalizations about people groups or Virginians or people in dark alleys, right? We need to make generalizations so that even about people so that we can reason. Okay, so that's one way that generalizations can be good. We just want those to be supported evidentially. But also generalizations can be good because only if you can, going back to people and cultures, only if you can make a generalization can you be proud of a culture or praise a culture. If I want to be proud of VCU students, right, that means I have to make a general claim about VCU students. Or if I want to be proud of Koreans, right, I need to be able to make claims about Koreans. That could be a good thing about generalizations, to be able to like praise or be proud of a group. Um, yeah, so those are the two. Okay, so we can be proud of a culture, but also because they help us reason. One more like example is there might be something like negative, a negative but true generalization about Asians, and that can actually help me reason. Okay, how can I help Asian culture? So okay, so I hope that was pretty clear, and that's some review of what the quiz will be over on Friday. As I said in the class and the email, we're going to not have an official Zoom session. I'm going to have just open office hours after the quiz for anybody who just wants to either catch up or feels like they're lost, or people, I know some of you joined the class late. So okay, that's it. So it's only this video for Friday, and that's all you gotta watch. Okay, see you guys. Bye.